Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is December 22nd, 2023, and we are in the Old Testament book of Job, and we're going to read chapter 31 today. Uh, Job is finishing his summary argument. At the end of this verse, we're told that Job speaks no more, even though he does speak one more time. But this is basically his argument. And his argument against his friends who came with that simple idea of, hey, you know what, bad things happened to you, you must have been guilty, because if you were a good person, good things would have happened to you. And we know that, there's a kernel of truth into that. I mean, that is in the perfect world of Eden, that's how it was going to work. But man fell, so there's some complexity to that. That simple argument doesn't quite work anymore. Job makes the argument, well, God is sovereign, so things happen according to God's will and not always what we want. So he's on the right track there, but again, he wants to turn it into it's a conflict that God created it just so he could smack us down and crush us, and that's not true either. And interestingly enough, as Job gets to the end of this section of making his argument, he actually kind of goes back to what his friends were arguing of, why did this all happen to me? I was a good person. Good things are supposed to happen to me. Bad things are supposed to happen to bad people. But we know that from the start of this that it was never about that. It was actually about God lifting up Job and showing Satan and saying, hey, you know what? You know how righteous Job is? Even if you take everything away from him, he's still going to be a righteous person, because righteousness has nothing to do with the blessings and what he has and the good things that he thinks he has. It's all about understanding that God is the sovereign and God's will reigns, and if I'm trying to follow God's will and letting God's will run my life, then I'm headed in the right direction. I'm headed towards my heavenly reward. And if I lose everything on earth, well, I lose everything on earth. It's all about that future creation that we're all headed to, where we're actually going to live like we were in Eden, where it is a simple thing of, hey, if we're good people and we're having good things happen to us. So let's go ahead and we're going to read Job chapter 31. I have made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I look upon a young woman? For what is the allotment of God from above, and the inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is it not destruction for the wicked and disaster for the workers of iniquity? Does he not see my ways and count all my steps? If I have walked with falsehood, or if my foot has hastened to deceit, let me be weighed on honest scales, that God may know my integrity. If my step has turned from the way, or my heart walked over after my eyes, or if any spot adheres to my hands, then let me sow and another eat. Yes, let my harvest be rooted out. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind for another, and let others bow down over her, for that would be wickedness. Yes, it would be iniquity deserving of judgment. For that would be a fire that consumes to destruction and would root out all my increase. If I have despised the cause of my male or female servant, when they complained against me, what then shall I do when God rises up? When he punishes, how shall I answer him? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one fashion us in the womb? If I have kept the poor from their desire, or caused the eyes of the widow to fall, or eaten my morsel by myself, so that the fatherless could not eat of it, but from my youth I reared him as a father, and from my mother's womb I guided the widow, if I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or any poor man without covering, if his heart has not blessed me, and if he has not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless when I saw I had help in the gate, then let my arm fall from my shoulder, let my arm be torn from the socket, for destruction from God is a terror to me. Because of his magnificence I cannot endure. If I have made gold my hope, or said to find gold, you are my confidence, if I have rejoiced because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gained much, if I have observed the sun when it shines, or the moon moving in brightness, so that my heart has been secretly enticed, and my mouth has kissed my hand, these also would be an iniquity deserving of judgment, for I would have denied God who is above. If I have rejoiced at the destruction of him who hated me, or lifted myself up when evil found him, indeed I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on his soul, if the men on my tent have not said, who is there that has not been satisfied with his meat? But no sojourner had to lodge in the street, for I have opened my doors to the traveler. For I have covered my transgressions as Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, because I feared the great multitude and dreaded the contempt of family, so that I kept silence and did not go out of the door. Oh, that I had had one to hear me, here is my mark. Oh, that the Almighty would answer me, for that my prosecutor had written a book. Surely I would carry it on my shoulder and bind it on me like a crown. I would declare to him the number of my steps. Like a prince I would approach him. If my land cries out against me and its furrows weep together, if I have eaten its fruit without money or caused its owners to lose their lives, then let thistles grow instead of wheat and weeds instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. May God bless the reading of his word. May God bless you. Bye.